All right. I am here with the one and only Sarah French. As you don't know by now, she is a member of this year's World Film Geek Hall of Fame. She is an amazing actress. She's also a producer. We are talking about her film Garden of Eden, which is now available on digital and on demand. And Sarah, this movie was one of your best. Like, I thought That's a Wrap was like, you were awesome in that. Of course, you won Best Actress at my World Film Geek Awards for
That's
that.
right. Thank you
For
so
that.
much.
And I have a feeling that for the first time ever, lightning might strike twice with this one because
Woo!
you just nailed it with Garden of
Well,
Eden.
thank you. That makes me feel so good. And, Garden of Eden was a very special project. It was something very completely different than what, I've done in the past and what my production company with Joe and Marcel did with the first film. That's a Wrap. It's something completely different, which was our goal. Um, Garden of Eden, what a lot of people don't know is that movie's kind of been about 6, 7 years in the works. And I don't know if you even know this, but that was one of the first scripts that Joe wrote for Marcel.
Okay, now I
So
don't. Now I did not know that, but now I do.
yeah. So, and for those of you who have or have not seen the film, it deals with a lot of controversial subjects. It's very gory, it's very brutal, but it's also very beautiful. So you get kind of the best of all worlds with that film. And with That's a Wrap, that one was more of our 90s style, scream style slasher that takes place in a film studio. And very colorful, very fun, a lot of fun kills. But so we wanted to kind of flip the switch, and then we had the opportunity to do Garden of Eden, and so we jumped on it right away.
Yeah.
Our executive producer, Manuel, he was it was the best case scenario. He was like, well, I love what you guys are doing. I want to be a part of what you were doing. I believe in you. I believe in what you're making, and I want to be a part of it. And so he came in with the funding, and he said, I don't even need to read the script.
No, I mean, this script, I felt like for me, it was Eyes Wide Shut, with a little dash of Eye Wide Shut. I'd say Midsummer
Yeah,
and Hostel. Like, if you took the three like elements from those three films and bash them all into one little package, that's what
right,
Garden of Eden is. It's just
right.
amazing. And you mentioned the beautiful imagery, and you're right. I mean, some of the nice dissolves in the film, and there is a amazing scene with you that has this beautiful imagery. And I will talk about that shortly in a bit, but I think you might know where I might be going with that. But
So
my first question is, um, you know, if for those who haven't seen the movie yet, describe who your Angelique is, because she comes off as she's like a double-edged sword to me.
Right, right. So I'll give you guys a quick rundown of what Garden of Eden is. Garden of Eden is about the Eden family. They are very religious and they are very well off. So they live in this big, beautiful house, and they throw these big, beautiful garden parties to give back to the community. Well, within those garden parties, one lucky guest can get their most wished for dream to come true. But some people's dreams are other people's nightmares. And I
Yep.
play Angelique. I am the daughter in within the family. And you know how they say some people uh, are products of their environment? Well, Angelique is a product of her environment. She grew up within the family. She grew into what the family is and what they do. So this is like normal for her. But there are also people that are born evil. And she's both. She's a product of her environment, and she was born evil. Um, and you see that within the film. I would say through about halfway through the film, you really find out that she's, doing these things not only because, she feels like um, it's okay and it's justified because of, you know, them being religious. Everything is justified. Um, she also is enjoying it.
Yeah,
So
that's
she
that's
is
definite.
enjoying the mayhem that she is creating and that she is causing. And, you know, she's very dark inside. So, yeah, it
She's
was playing her it was, I don't want to say it was fun, but it was, you know, when you get to play as something that you normally don't get to play, and bring to life a character like that, because she's so complex, but she's also very, you know, the darkness that is in her was something that, you know, I've never been able to play before. So to be able to play in that world, in that environment that she's in, was something that was very, you know, it was a very great experience doing something new like that. So the script, Joe wrote a great script. He gave, you know, all of us actors a lot to work with. Um, and you know, the thing I love about Marcel as a director, he's very open to anything. And you know, he really trusts his actors and he trusts what we bring to the table. Um, and you know, he gives us a lot of room to play with the characters. So we can bring our own self into them to, you know, make it more realistic. Um, and I thought everybody did such a fantastic job in the film, especially dealing with the kind of, you know, topics that we deal with. You know, it's all taboo topics, you know, it's controversial topics. So everyone was dealing with very sensitive material, including myself. And you know, we wanted to do it right and make it very real and really, you know, play up those emotions and what the characters are, you know, going through. And you know, I thought with Marcel's direction and Joe's writing, it was, you know, very, very well done.
and add to that Marcus Freelander's cinematography
Oh yeah,
and Kai
Marcus.
Bagatti's editing, because the way some scenes dissolve like right into the next one, it's some of the most beautiful I have seen in a long time. The way it just dissolves into the next shot,
Right.
it's just amazing.
Well, yeah, Marcus, you know, you know, he did our cinematography, and he is fantastic. He has such a great eye. He, you know, he creates such beautiful camera movements, and you know, and with the, you know, his crew and adding the colors and the lights, and you know, there's just so much that goes into it. That, you know, with the whole crew did such a wonderful job, and we all came together, you know, to form, you know, to tell the story. And you know, it just really worked out very well. And Marcus is he also did our cinematography for That's a Wrap.
Yes, he did, and he actually won best cinematographer at the World Film Geek Awards that year
Yay,
for
that's
that.
right. Oh my gosh, that's right. I love that.
One thing I love about your character, you mentioned that she's both the product of the environment and born evil. You notice that as you are completely night and day in this movie. When it
Right,
comes to the daytime, you are like the sweetest person on the face of the earth. Like you
right.
come off as like as you're basically being who you are, like who
Yeah,
you are in real life. But once the darkness comes and we got the dream scenes,
right.
that's when we see the other side of you come out. And
Yeah, when, you know, Angelique, she's just going, you know, you meet her, she's just going through her everyday life, doing what she does. Um, you know, and when it comes time to the torture scenes, um, that's when, you know, her dark side really comes out because she's really enjoying it. And, you know, I wanted to do something different between um Angelique and um Sarah
Dominique,
Poldenek,
yeah,
who played
which
Dominique.
Dominique, yeah,
She did such a great job.
she did.
I mean, she was so invested. Like everyone is just completely invested in the characters, and it really comes through. But one thing I wanted to do something that, because we're both very different in the film. You know, she's trying to find redemption, and I am trying to, I'm also trying to find myself, but find the darker part of myself, where she's trying to find the light. So there's a nice little yin and yang going on between the sisters. And Angelique, like, the one thing I wanted to do different was, you'll see throughout the film, Dominique, she doesn't really wear much makeup or anything like that.
Yeah.
She's very pure, whereas Angelique is usually wearing red lipstick and red nails, because I wanted that to be the juxtaposition between the two characters, and because we kind of look like we both have blonde hair,
Yeah.
and and I wanted to get bangs for that too, so I would look, with every film I do, I like to try to look different, especially with my hair. So I got bangs for that film, and I thought that worked out really well. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I just wanted to do little subtle things that make my character different than her character.
We have to give major props to two people, Robert Russler and Monique Parent, as your parents, because damn, I mean, I grew up watching Robert Russler.
Right.
My very first horror film, he was in it. It was Nightmare on Elm Street 2. That was my very first horror film, and he's in it. So
That's
I feel like I've
awesome.
gone full circle with this movie, and this was one of the best roles he's ever done. And I can't say enough about Monique, because I actually interviewed her for That to Rap a couple years ago,
Oh,
and
that's right.
she was telling me how, like, I don't like watching horror films. I like making them. I don't like watching them. Which
That's true.
I know a couple of people who are like that, but I get it, because but oh my god, those two, they were also like night and
Oh
day.
my gosh, those two were so great together. Oh, it's just, I mean, the parents are just, they're so just in their own world and completely oblivious to, consequences of their actions. And, Monique's character really goes through a lot throughout the film. And I know you're going to interview her.
Yeah,
And, I'll let her explain it.
yeah,
But her character goes through like a lot of different emotions throughout the film. And, Robert Russler's character, he's just, I'm how I felt when I read the script. I'm more like my dad in the film. He's just an evil son of a bitch. And that's where I get that side. I get it from him. I'm like a daddy's girl.
yeah.
Whereas Dominique is more like a mama's girl. So that was
Exactly.
also the other juxtaposition between the two characters as well.
Yeah, exactly. And these
So
kill scenes, man,
right.
these torture scenes are all, oh my gosh. I kept the one where the guy's like hanging by his skin. I was like, I'm looking at him like, oh my god. I'm like, this is so Takashi Miike-ish. I was thinking Ichi the Killer, that one famous scene where they hang the guy by his back, and I'm like, I was just, and then the LGBTQ kill was, that was surprised at that one. That one really, and I gotta tell you, you and Dominique dancing to that one song to start out that one scene. That song is now on my Amazon playlist.
It's
That
great,
song,
isn't it?
yeah,
I love it. I love it. And they're all independent artists too that we got for the film, which is great for some of the songs. But yeah, the kills were fantastic. And each kill is very unique. Like, I don't know if you've seen, a lot of these types of kills in other horror films. I don't think so.
rarely, yeah,
Um, we wanted to make them as different and as unique as possible. And our head of special effects team, Vincent Guastini, he worked on a lot of, if you look him up on IMDb, he worked on a lot of really big budget, like horror films. And I mean, he's been around for 20 plus years doing this. And his effects are top notch. Him and his team just killed it. And, when you're working with a low budget, you only have so much for everything. And with this one, we knew we needed to up the ante because it was going to be very gory.
yeah.
So, he worked with us on different kills and what was, doable with the budget that we had. And, they really came through for us. And I am so grateful. And I've worked with Vincent Guastini before on on another film. So, and I think Joe knew him too as well. So, you know, we were able to bring him in, and it was just, he was a great addition to the team. And, you know, these special effects artists, what they're able to do is really magic. I mean, it's that's the only word I can think of for, you know, what special effects artists can do.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, I mean, as a child, I thought about becoming one, but I'm like, I'm not sure if I can. I had at that time, I didn't have the patience for it. I wasn't sure I had the patience for it, but that's okay. I
It's
just like watching it
okay.
now, and I like seeing how it's done now. I like seeing how everything's done. So I
Right.
really enjoy that. You know, it's like the best thing about watching, like seeing how this stuff gets made. I'm like, it just blows my mind. Like you can use the minimalist of like materials and still make something amazing.
Definitely. I mean, look at all of, you know, Tom Savini's early work, and, you know, all the great special effects artists back in the day, you know, who really paved the way for everyone today. And it's just crazy what you can do with what little you have, to make it really shine.
Exactly. And I remember the trailer, and I gotta ask, was that you who actually dancing in that one scene?
No, that
That
was
wasn't.
Sarah
Oh,
Paletnik.
was it?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, she is actually a professional dancer.
Oh, wow. Because
Yeah, and how
that
that scene,
was
yeah, how that scene kind of came about was, um so we, you know, we had the a few scenes in the desert, and we only had one day there. So we had to shoot all the outside desert stuff in one day. And um so it was getting towards the end of the night, and Sarah, you know, being an artist that she is, she was just dancing. You know, the wind was blowing. We were in between takes of another scene, and Joe and Marcel saw her dancing. They're like, we got to get that on camera. And it wasn't even in the script. It was a last minute thing, and Marcus was like, hell yes, we got to get that. And they just shot her dancing.
wow.
And that is like the centerpiece of the trailer.
Yeah,
And
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I'm
that
like,
kind of stuff happens all the time. You'd be shocked of what, when you're in the moment, and when you're, you know, making these films, on what just comes naturally. Like there are so many things throughout all the films that I've done that, you know, that wasn't in the script, that was incorporated in the film because of either something I was doing, or, you know, whatever. That's that happens all the time.
yeah, you've been.
But
I
it's,
mean,
and it shows like how good of an artist you are, you know, that, you know, you can do really become a character with, and just not even know it. It just comes natural because of all the preparation you did, you know. And yeah. And, you know, with Sarah dancing, that was, you know, in her head, she's doing that because the previous scene, I coax her into taking drugs.
yeah,
So she's tripping. So that's, it all made sense and why she's dancing like that. Cause she feels free, and, you know, not a single worry in the world at that moment.
I mean, I had to like. It took me a while to figure out, but I'm glad that the way it was set up. But there's these flashback scenes with the priest, and it's making me wonder, like, what is going on here? He just like pops up at like randomly, and then
Right.
finally, of course, we realize what it is, and I was just like, oh, I like that. I like the way it's done because it just like
Right.
it comes up with
How it
these.
all unravels.
Yeah, and
Yeah. And you know, that playing a character like that is like, you know, crazy, right? And the actor that we got, Robert, he is such a fantastic character actor. I actually met him on a crime recreation show that I did for Netflix called what was it? It was huge on Netflix a couple years ago, and it was a crime recreation show. Girl, it's on my IMDb. I
yeah,
am told.
I'll find it. I'll find it.
Yeah, it's basically about this guy that kidnaps this girl and raises her as his daughter, and he sexually molests her and abused her, and then she eventually died, and he like dropped her on the side of the road or something like that. It was a horrible, horrific story.
Yeah.
But Robert plays the bad guy, the killer, and in the crime recreation show, and I play one of her friends um, on the show, and I just saw like Robert and I clicked right away, and we were talking, and you know, I was just so amazed by how he can be this such this creepy guy, but be so cool off camera. It's like that's like amazing acting when you can play this just complete asshole creep, but then when the cameras stop rolling, you're literally one of the coolest dudes.
That's with a lot of horror stars, actually. You know, you got the
Yes,
horror killers.
not all of
Let's get
them.
the
Some
crap.
are actually like that in real life, but Robert is not one of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, like a lot of like you got these iconic act like car
Oh,
stars like Robert Englund, David Howard. I'm calling David Howard Thornton an icon now because let's face it, he is.
he
And
is. He's great.
you know, I got to meet David a few years ago. I interviewed him for Terrifier 2, and he just comes off as the nicest. Like he was like comes off as like such a nice guy. And I'm
He's
like,
so sweet.
oh my god, like, and I like the
Right.
fact that like Robert, I just by looking at him, like you can see he plays like these bully, like these crazy characters,
Right.
but you know, like Offset, I saw him in the Mark Patton documentary a couple years ago,
Oh,
and I was like, this guy, like he's the coolest dude, like he was so nice to him and everything, and you
he's so
know,
cool.
yeah,
Same with Damien, the director of Terrifier. He
yeah,
is so nice and so sweet, and just I'm so proud of them and how far they've come. Because
yeah,
I know, you know, they grew up or they started in the low budget indie world like all of us have, and look at them now. Look at them now. They have at Universal Studios. They're going to have their own
yeah,
maze at Halloween Horror Nights.
yeah.
I
I know
mean,
that's so
they've
awesome.
come so far, and you know, it's really a wonderful thing.
You have too. You've come along.
Thank you.
You've come very
We
far
all
too.
have.
Yeah, because you've been doing this for about 15. You've been acting for what, like just over 15 years.
Yeah.
And you know, you start out with the Z grade, and then you worked your way up, and you got to work with the awesome Mahal Empire. You know, rest in peace, Michael. I mean,
Right.
I talked with Jay Horton about we gave our memories of Michael, and you know, that's where I
Oh.
actually first saw you. I first saw you in Mahal Empire's movies. Death Count.
Oh.
My
Do you
introduction to you
remember
was
which
Death
one?
Count. Death Count was my
Well,
first movie
oh,
with you.
I love that one.
And then once I saw then I saw Bloodthirst and Bermuda Island, and I was like, and then that was right after Space Wars, like right then Space Wars came, and I'm like,
Oh.
wow, and I was like, I told myself she's gonna rise up, and it's like she keeps going, we just wait a couple of years,
Aw.
she's gonna knock it out of the park, and one of your other films was released this year, Pretty Boy. And
Yes. Did you get a chance to see that one?
yes, I saw Pretty Boy. I did. I actually saw Blind first because
Good.
I saw Blind on Tubi, and then I saw Pretty Boy.
Oh,
And once again, Robert did it again.
I was gonna say, do you
And this
recognize it?
time, you have Maria Olsen involved.
Right.
And I interviewed her a few years ago because I met her through a mutual friend of a mutual friend.
Oh,
So she's like, yeah, she goes, I can get you hooked up with Maria Olsen if you want. So I'm like, all right. So
she's great. She's another one that's been, you know, doing this for many, many years.
yeah,
You know, coming up in the low budget, no budget world as well. And she was so fantastic to work with, and such a professional. And you know, her and Robert I thought worked very well together in that film,
they did.
Pretty Boy. And yeah, that's out now finally after
It
all these
is.
years.
I know. I was like, as soon as I saw that trailer, I'm like, I gotta watch this. I was like, I rented it right away. And I was like, and then yeah, you once again, you really upped your game playing the blind actress in this, and
Thank you.
you know, and I
Well,
like that the first half was like the slasher film, and the
right.
second half goes back into the psychological thriller with your
Yes.
character, and that's what I really loved. I loved the juxtaposition between the slasher and psychological horror, and that's what
Right.
I really
It's very different, and it takes a turn where you don't expect it. And you're just like, "Oh, this is I wasn't expecting this." And, we wanted to kind of just slow it down and, take some breaths and, just kind of get right back into it. And
Yeah, so this is gonna be your year, because
I,
so definitely. My next question is, how long did it take to shoot Garden of Eden? And did you face any, aside from time, or the other challenges that you faced?
I mean, there's always challenges on, on set, whether it's a big budget film or a low budget film or, whatever. There's always going to be challenges. Um, but as far as the first part of the question, I think we shot this in 12 or 13 days,
Not bad.
which is insane, for people that don't work in the film industry. They they're usually like, oh, they're probably shooting this for months. No, 12 to
And
14 days tops.
hey, it happens. I mean,
that
I knew.
that takes major preparation to do that kind of stuff and to do it right.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember. Yeah, I remember a story where I interviewed a director, and he did a trilogy of movies with Bruce Willis, the Detective Knight trilogy. He told me he shot all three films within 3 weeks, and he shot all three films, like, all set on a different, and all movies are set on a different holiday. So the first one was Halloween, the second one was Christmas, and the third one was set on Independence Day. But he said I shot all three films in like 3 weeks, and I was like,
I don't know if I would suggest that, but
no, I wouldn't. I no, he
all
even
of
said
the
I wouldn't
movies.
suggest that. I wouldn't do that. That's
But
just
good
too.
for him. I mean,
Yeah,
when you're working, with so much of a budget, you can only have these actors for so long. You got to get creative, and we that's what we do. We make things work. As far as challenges, we definitely had some. One of the biggest ones was we actually lost an actor on the day of the shoot. Um, yeah, and he got, I don't know exactly what happened, but he got sick or something, and we had to send him home. And that's really tough because we only have so many days at the locations. We only have so many days for cast and crew and everybody working on the film. Everything's already been paid, everything's already been scheduled. You can't just say, oh, it's okay, we'll add another day. That's adding another day on any kind of film like that. It's going to be tens of thousands of dollars.
yeah,
And most people, most of the crew have gigs right after. So they don't just have days off. I mean, these are all, working actors, working crew members. Um, you know, so nobody, I mean, it's a nightmare dealing with that kind of situation. But we all put our heads together. We our head our PA Sarah, her roommate was an actor, and he was available, and he actually had the same like body type and everything as the actor that had to go. So what we did was we shot what we could with one of the other actors that was in the scene as well. We shot all of her coverage, and then the next day we shot the coverage of the other gentleman. And we, with creative editing, we edited together, and it looks like they're together.
that's awesome.
um you know but we were also able to get her and him in a few of the same scenes together as well, because what we did was we switched things around on the schedule, and we were able to get him in right away in the morning. And he has, in the film you see, he has, he's in the torture room, and so he has all these prosthetics on him. So we needed to find someone that had the same kind of body type. So Vincent could do his magic on him, and to make it all work, because that's what was the plan. So yeah, it was. But whenever you deal, whenever you have situations like that, and as a producer, on the producer side, you just have to think quickly on your feet. You have to get ready to put out any fire and, get ready for these challenges because there are challenges every day, all day, including pre-production and post-production. You just have to be ready. And when you do have the challenges, you have to learn from those challenges. So when they come up again in the future, you're like, I know exactly what to do because I've been in this situation before. So you always have to be keeping your mind open, and you have to just keep, um, think and, just be ready. Be ready for anything.
Well, I gotta tell you, there's one specific. So the trailer said there's gonna be scenes in this movie that's burned into your retinas. I remember that in the trailer. I'm not going to lie. That is total truth. They were.
Let me guess which one. Was it at the end?
That's one of them, but there's actually a couple of them actually.
Okay.
One of them involved you. And because it was one of the most beautiful, and it's because it's one of the most beautiful shot scenes. I think it's because of the
Oh,
way it was shot and the way it symbolized who Angelique is. And I
oh,
think
is that in the bedroom
that, yeah, where
with the
you
cross?
lay there and you're looking at the cross and you turn it, and that's when I was like,
Yep.
that just like that was in my head for like over a week because of how beautifully not only was it shot, but the way you brought that scene in, like the way you
Right.
presented yourself in that scene. And I just said, holy cow. Like that's
Yeah.
got to be the most one of the most symbolic scenes in this entire movie, like hands down. One of
Well,
the
and
best scenes.
well, thank you. And what's funny about that is, for those who haven't seen it, I'll just tell you, I am topless in that scene. But that wasn't originally in the script.
That's
We
a
decided to do that last minute because we wanted to show how deranged Angelique was, and how just she, her descent into madness, where it really starts. And it really starts the scene before that with all the characters in the kill room. That's where it really starts. And that's kind of where she gets her, I guess you could say, lust for blood.
yeah. And I'm not, and I wasn't saying that because of the fact that you were topless.
No,
That
no, no.
even if you
But I
weren't,
just
like I was like, if you weren't, like just the fact that the way you just showed it, like you were looking at the cross,
right.
and
And well,
then
before
boom,
that, I'm looking at the knife.
yeah, and then once you turn that cross upside down, I went, oh my god! I'm like that was shot so beautifully,
Thank
even
you.
with the
Yeah.
lighting, even with the
We
lighting and the background drop. I'm
right.
like,
We got really lucky with that scene and in that room, because that room in the house that we were renting had mirrors on the top and on the sides. Um, so we actually shot, I believe Marcus shot through the mirror looking down at me on a couple of those angles.
wow.
So yeah, it's a really dark, quick scene, but it says a lot about Angelique and her intentions.
And so symbolic of like even the whole movie as a whole. Like it's just
Right.
like I don't think that's gonna be like if there was a best scene for a horror movie, this will definitely be one of the big contenders for that. And yeah, the and I'm not gonna spoil what happens at the end, but that scene embedded in my head for a whole week, and I was just like I was just like cringing the whole time, like oh my god, I can't
Yeah,
believe that
those of you
happened.
watching should definitely have to check out the movie so you know what
Yeah, if
we're
you haven't
talking
seen the
about.
movie yet, do yourself a favor, see this movie as soon as possible because this movie is just amazing. It's hands down, it's one of the best horror films of the year. You know,
Oh,
everyone's talking about A-list films. You know, we had Final Destination Bloodlines, we had Sinners, you know, we had a couple of the Monkey, we have other ones, but I'm telling you guys, Garden of Eden is definitely one of the best horror films of the year. I am
thank
not
you. That
going to
means
say
so
that.
much.
And I already know what's coming next from you because we know it's coming out in August, and it's a little movie called. And I've been waiting for this one. This is one of my most anticipated films. As soon as I heard about this, I'm like, I have to watch this. It's a little movie called Brute 1976. And I
Yeah,
saw the
baby.
trailer, and yeah, it totally says it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets The Hills Have Eyes.
Yep.
I from the look of it, it totally is that it totally looks like that, and I cannot wait to see this.
Yeah, with that film again, we shot Brute 76 after Garden of Eden. And we wanted to again flip the switch and do something completely different. And Joe, Marcel, and I are all big fans of horror, and we've all worked in the film industry for many years. So we're bringing, all of our connections and all of our love for horror, to the table together and working together as a team. And yeah, and you can really see that within every film that we do, because every film that we do, it's usually an homage to other things, whether they're homages to kills, the story, because we all love horror and we love bringing what we watched as kids into what we're working on.
Yeah.
And so with that one, we wanted to do Texas Chainsaw Hills of Eyes, homage basically,
Yeah.
but with a modern twist. Have that old school, creepy, dirty, you know, um, shot on, like, make it feel like it was shot back in the 70s vibe, but
Yeah,
also
no. Yes. Seeing the trailer, I was like, Daniel Pearl could have shot this movie. The guy, the cinematographer for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The way
ooh,
the film looked from the trailer, I'm thinking he could have shot this movie using those classic lenses because it
right,
looks so amazing.
right. It looks like of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has that feel. And yeah, it's just, I'm so excited for that film. And just to give you guys an idea what Brute 1976 is, it's about this group of people that go out to the desert to shoot a magazine cover to a famous magazine. And they want to do like a salt and pepper type of thing. So have an African American female and then a Caucasian female on the cover. It's during the bicentennial, so they're celebrating America and all the great things that were going on at that time. But one of the models does not show up, Raquel, played by Gigi Gustin.
Who's in Garden
She
of
does,
Eden, by the way, just
and
so everyone
who else
knows.
is in Garden of Eden?
And she was also in That's a Wrap.
Yes.
So
Um, she doesn't show up, so they enlist Sunshine, who's the makeup artist, played by myself, to take her place because they only had so much time. And so when they're done with the shoot, they decide to go to a creepy ghost town. And the ghost town is named Savage. And there is a family that lives there. Well, what they don't realize is the family that lives there wants to keep up with the name Savage. So a lot of
and I
great stuff
believe, yep,
happens.
and I did get it.
Not for the people that go there.
And I did get a release date for that. I believe it's August 27th, according to
Yes.
some stuff I got from Cinephobia Releasing. So that's gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be on my list for
Well,
sure.
and that's coming up quick. And the good thing is, a few things about Brute 1976 is we do have limited theatrical release. We will be finding out, I would say, in the next few weeks where it's going to be released. And so hopefully people can go see it in the theater. But then we are also getting physical copies, physical media at some point, but it'll also be on streaming everywhere. So we're going big with this one, and we're very excited about it.
And I will say this: once I find out where it's gonna hit theatrically, I will post that on my blog, so everyone will get a chance to see this movie, hopefully, and on the big screen.
Yes,
And I'm
that's a big deal. It's exciting. This is, like I said, this is the third film from our production company, and yeah, we're very excited about it. We were able to go bigger on this one. With each of our films, we were able to increase the budget, and so with a bigger budget, you're able to get better locations, um, more gore, just more going on in the story. So yeah, we're very excited.
That's awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be Sarah's year. I have a good feeling this is definitely Sarah's year. She's got some great films out right now. You definitely need to check them out. And if you want to see some of her past work, Tubi, check any streaming platform. You're gonna see some of her past work.
Yes.
There's even a documentary with her that I saw, and I know I'm bringing it up.
I did that so many years ago.
It was
Holy
so many
crap.
years ago. I think this was just when you were just starting out or something.
Oh yeah.
And I forgot what the documentary is called off top. I think it was called like "Welcome to My Nightmare" or something.
Unconventional.
Huh?
I think it's unconventional.
Yeah, I think
Um, unconventional. No, 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 it's not. No,
no.
it's not.
"Welcome to My Darkness: Women in Horror."
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Yes.
Definitely, it's on. That's on Tubi. And that's when she used that's when you used the Scarlet Salem name. I remember that. That's
Yes.
and as soon as I saw that, I remember watching it like a few months ago, and as soon as I saw the name, and I'm like, oh snap! I'm like, that's Sarah. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, fun fact for those who don't know me, when I first got in the industry, it was 2007. I was modeling first, and then I got into film. But you know, my first photographer ever was he's shot for Playboy magazine and things like that. So he's, you know, been around for a long time. And he said most models and actors have stage names. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have any friends or family in the industry at all. So I was kind of on my own. And I was like, okay. And I was like, you know, I wanted to do mostly horror central, you know, stuff. And because that's my love of horror. So I was like, well, let me make a stage name that's horror related. So we both came up with Scarlet Salem, and I love it. And it stuck with me from 2007 to 2011. And so all my films prior to 2011, I had that stage name. And then in 2011, I started taking acting more serious, and I wanted to get better and bigger roles in other genres as well. So I dropped Scarlet Salem and went with my real name, Sarah French.
Yep. Which is, and like I said, you're been knocking out of the park, especially the last few years. Like so much of your stuff,
Thank
and
you.
you know, especially with Mahal Empire. I was floored a few months when I heard about Michael Mahal passing away. I was just like,
Trust me, everybody was. Nobody was expecting it. I mean,
yeah,
just awful. He was so young. He
yeah,
had his whole life ahead of
I,
him, and you know he did so much for the, you know, independent film community. And
he
you know,
did.
I'm very grateful I was able to work with him and Sonny for all the years that I did. And I think we made 5 or 6 movies together.
I think I've probably seen all of them.
I'm sure.
I've most likely seen all of them. I mean,
I'm sure.
once I started watching their films, I was like, I couldn't stop. And
Right.
like Death Count, Bloodthirst,
Right.
Forbidden
Right.
Island, Bridge of the Doomed.
Yeah, you're
I
naming
like,
them all.
I love that. Like they were throwbacks to what I grew up with. I grew up in the '80s in New York, and I used to always go to the mom and pop video store renting those low budget horror or action flicks, those
Right.
B movies, and I love that they were bringing back childhood memories as well as watching these movies. And
Right. They're fun, they're cheesy, you don't take them serious. And you just, you know, just like any movie, you know, you watch it and you're along for the ride. And that's, you know, that's our job, is to bring these characters to life and entertain people. You know, if someone's having a bad day, they can throw in a movie and just kind of forget about their day and just be a part of what we're doing in the film. And I love that.
yeah, exactly. And you've done it all. I mean, you've done horror, you've done action, everything. And judging from your work this past few years, I was thinking about last year. I'm like, all right, who am I going to induct in this year's World Film Geek Hall of Fame? And first name I thought of, I was like, I got to induct Sarah this year. She's
Aw,
done so much. She's done so much for this industry as a producer and an actor. And,
thank you.
you know, it's like you've been in the industry for almost 2 decades, and look where you are now. And I applaud you. I'm applauding you right now.
Aw, thank you. It's, you know, it's a very it's a very tough job, I'm not gonna lie, but in the end, it's very rewarding. And I don't see myself doing anything else. And I love it. And You know, the industry is at a weird time right now. There's not a lot being made. It's in a weird crossroads, and I think, you know, with AI and, you know, in California especially with the strikes and the fires and um, uh, COVID, you know, it's a challenge, but with those challenges, you just have to learn and grow and just keep pushing forward and doing, you know, putting your best foot forward with anything. Everything's going to be a challenge. You just have to learn how to maneuver around it and go with the flow and keep that positive mindset as much as possible. And don't just focus on, you know, the task at hand. Live your life. Enjoy life.
Yep.
Go on a trip, go hang out with friends, go hiking, see the world if you can, you know, and just be in the moment.
And hopefully one of those moments you enjoy a Sarah French movie.
Please.
I will say this right now, everyone, because I get asked this sometimes randomly, like, who are your favorite actresses? And every time people ask who are your favorite actors, they always name like A-list and, you know, the big A-list actors. I am safe to say you are one of my favorite actresses. I'm not lying when I say that. Like, I will say might name a few of A-list, but I'm like Sarah French. And if anyone asks, well, who's Sarah French? I go, yeah, I'll give you a couple of her movies. Trust me, you're gonna want to see them. So,
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. That really means a lot.
well, ladies and gentlemen, check out Garden of Eden right now. It's on demand. It's on digital. Brute
And
1970
DVD and Blu-ray.
and DVD and Blu-ray. Yes, make sure you and if you're in the physical media like I am, get the movie. And August 27th, Brute 1976. And as soon as we get a word on a theatrical release, I will have it posted on worldfilmgeek.com so you can see where to see it. Because you're definitely going to want to see Sarah in just these movies. She's done amazing. Check out a lot of her past stuff on Tubi and other streaming platforms. I'm telling you guys, this is definitely Sarah's year in my opinion. This is she definitely deserves it. She's worked her butt off these past so many years, and I feel like the hard work is paying off more and more and more. So, Sarah, I can't thank you enough. You are
Thank
amazing,
you. You're amazing.
and
Thank you so much.
we're definitely gonna keep in touch after this because it's
Yes.
just
Well,
I
I
feel
would love to come and talk Route 76. And also, real quick, we have a sequel coming to that.
I
So
read a little
more to
bit.
come. Stay tuned.
Yes, I read a little bit about that, and I'm really excited. But I'm not going to reveal it, but I will say that one of my favorite musicians happens to be in that little sequel of yours, and I think you know who I'm talking about.
I think I do.
Well, everyone, check out worldfilmgeek.com for reviews, interviews, and you check out the YouTube channel. You can check us out on some of the socials. They're now posted on the new worldfilmgeek.com. Sarah, thank you so much again. And I
Thank
gotta say, out of the
you.
past 10 years doing this, you're by far one of my favorite interviewers. Not just this,
You're
but for Space Wars as well.
you're making me blush.
I'm just being honest.
Hey, well, I'll come on anytime. So
All right. Well,
I'm
I'll tell you what.
here.
When Brute 1976 comes, we'll definitely get in touch again. So we'll definitely get back into that. That's gonna be awesome.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, everyone, you stay awesome.